Slots have just gone live on Figma. I'm going to show you how to use them. Let's jump in. So to start off, what even are slots? Slots are a feature that unlock dynamic component instances. Slots add more ways to customize a component instance in Figma without having to detach from the design system, mapping much more closely to the way developers work and code. Using slots means fewer variants to manage, leaner libraries overall, and better file performances. For us designers, slots allow for more freedom and flexibility in the design process while still adhering to the design system. Now let's see how we actually do this in practice. Let's say I have this sort of card panel thing that I know I'm going to use a lot in my system. It will always have a title in these buttons, and it will always have this sort of background and treatment and border radius. But the inside of it could really change. This is a perfect use case for slots. Now there are a few rules that come with slots. Rule number 1, slots have to live inside of a component. So let's turn this into a component. Selecting my card in the design panel at the top, create component. So like we said, they have to live inside of a component. They cannot be the whole component. Rule number 2 is that slots have to be frames. So I'm going to add a frame into my component, clicking on F, and then I'll just drop a frame inside of here. I'll make it a good size, like maybe full width, drag the height. And then you'll see here in the top right in the design panel, I have convert to slot. I can also use Shift Command S, or I can right click on the frame and convert to slot. Once I do that, it will turn pink. Pink is the slot color. You'll see it in the layers panel as well. Now already I have a slot. So if I drag out, I'll go into my assets panel on the left, and then I will drag out an instance over here. So this is my main component, this is my instance. You'll see that pink area inside, and then I can just start adding things to it. So I'll click on R to create a rectangle, and then I can just drop it in, yeah? And you'll see in the layers panel that that is inside of this slot. Already super. We have never been able to break components in this way before. So I can add in whatever I want. I can put in some text. I can move things around. I can't change the size of it. The position section and the layout section are pretty much locked because it's still inside of a component, so we can't do whatever we want, but we can add stuff in. You'll already probably noticed that it's kind of very free floating, which can be dangerous. And that brings me to rule number 3. It's not really a rule, more of a recommendation. I would say that slots should probably be an auto layout. So I'll select the slot here in the original component and add an auto layout to it, Shift and A. I'll make it a vertical one. I'll make probably the whole card an auto layout as well, Shift A. I'll set this to fill container on the width and then hug on the height. So you see already in here, it's kind of updated the instance. And then if I select an element inside and just like drag it, you'll see that everything moves dynamically. So that's great. Already, this is fantastic. We can take this even a step further, and we don't have to add just free kind of form elements into here. We can also add in other instances. So let's say in my assets panel here on the left, I'll drag out this button and just drop it in. So now when I select this card, you will see that inside of it, I've got this instance of another component. So it's not just free elements, you can also insert instances. Now, this is great, but maybe we want to set some sort of default setting for this card. So it's not always free. Let's say, well, usually I'll just copy this row and then paste it into the slot. So I'm pasting in an instance of that component, set it to fill container, and then I'll duplicate it a few times, just Command D. And you'll notice if I select, because it's an auto layout, when I'm selecting the slot, I can just drag to duplicate. So I've got a few of these, and then maybe a button here. Set this to fill container, and I'll select the slot, and right now it has some padding on it, so I'll just remove that. Now this will be the default state of this asset. So when I go into my assets panel, when I pull out a new instance, it will look like that. It will have everything on it. So I can go to this instance and just reset it, and you'll see now that it says slot is default, but I can still make changes. Yeah, so I can go into here and then let's say delete this row, delete that row. And then when I select the card, it will tell me that the slot has been modified. Yeah. And you'll notice in the layers panel that this is not like before. So we could delete elements inside of a component before, but they wouldn't really delete, they would just hide. Inside of the slot, you see in the OG, I had 4 rows. Now I only have 2. Only 2 are showing up. This is what they meant when they were talking about dynamic. Now, there are more ways to add things into the slot. We've seen before where you just drag something in, But if I am selecting my card, if I hover over where the slot is here, I can just click on plus, and then that will allow me to add in different instances that I have. I can also do the same by, if I double click to select the slot, there's this pink dot that converts into a plus. I can click on that and then select any components that I already have created in this file or shared from a different library. Now, all of this is great, but again, it can create a bit of a Wild West where if you can add anything, it can be a bit scary. So what we can do is we can create preferred values. I'm going to say this is rule number 4, set some boundaries. So in our original card, I'm going to go into the slots here, and then there's an edit function. I can edit the property. I can add in a description of how to use it, which could be really useful for my other designers or for developers even. And I click on the plus here, and then let's say I only want to set that you can only add a button or a row. I have a few other components within this file, but those are the only 2 that I want. If I reset this instance, you'll see now that when I click on this plus button, I'm only presented with the button or the row to add in. So I can add in a button, another row, and they're an auto layout again, so I can just move them around using my arrow keys. I could override this still. So if I click on plus here and use the drop down to search through the different libraries that I have and kits that I have, I could add different instances in, but the quick and easy version will just allow me these 2. So it's probably good to set those boundaries, and then if someone really needs to break them, they can. Now, you might be thinking this is really good, but what are some practical examples of how I can use this? Let me show you one use case that I can think of for the world of app design. There is a thing called grouped table cells, which we see everywhere. You kind of can see them in your settings, in your contacts, in health, everywhere in your phone. And let's try and recreate this using slots. So what we can do, we can almost see that there's a pattern where they're always in the same sort of background, and it's almost like a platter behind them. So I'll click on F and I'll just drop in that frame. My iPhone that I'm using is 402, so it's the width of it is going to be 402 minus 32 because it needs 16 pixels of margin on either side. And that is my width. Great. I know that it will always have about 14 pixels of rounded corners. Lovely. So that is my group. Now I'm going to make this into a component and then drop another frame inside, because we know that a slot needs to be a frame inside of a component. And this one will be my slot. Great. Now I'm going to set my group to an auto layout with no padding. So 0, 0, and with no gap, and it's going to be a vertical auto layout. And then the slot inside, I'm also going to set to an auto layout again with no padding and no gap. So right now it should just look like this square. Now I know that inside of it, I'll probably always have at least one of these rows. So what I'll do is I'll select it, copy it, and then paste it inside of my slot to create that default. I know that in most of my grouped cells, the first row will never have a separator, the next row will. So what I'll do ahead of time is I'll duplicate a second one, and then the first one, I'll just go in and already remove the separator. There we go. Now I have this component ready to go. So I'm going to copy it, paste it into here so I have an instance of it. That looks too small. Why is it 300? It should be 370. And then these should be filling the container. So I have this ready to go. Now I can just get going. So for the first one, I know that I only need one row. So I'll go in and delete this one. And this row needs to be a tall row with an image, and there's no detail here. Great. Now I will duplicate this holding down Option and Shift, and then instead of a tall row, this needs to be a regular row, no image and no symbol. Great. I'm going to duplicate again, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset instance because I want to get 2 rows again. I'll click on Enter and Enter again. So I select both of them, change both of them to a regular size row, which didn't seem to work. So I'll select them and make them both 52. Then I can remove the symbol from both of them because I'm not going to need a symbol in any of them. And they both need to have an image. Let me go into this image component. And instead of fill, I'll select rounded. And then I'll just duplicate the bottom one because the top one, we know that's the one that doesn't have the separator. This one does. So I need 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the top one needs to have toggle. This one no detail, and this one, no detail. And then I will just duplicate this one again and change this instead of a toggle to the default. So quick, right? We could have done this on our own, but it will probably take us a bit of time to do that. That made it so much quicker. So this is a real practical example of how we can use this. And it's that thinking process of how to set, what to set in your defaults to make it easier for yourself. So like we did here, we know that in the group, we will most likely always have a row. So we already put the row in there. We know that we'll most likely, the first row will not have a separator. So have that one in and have one more in that does have it. So then you can duplicate whichever one you want. If you want to throw in a header component in there or a footer component in there, you could do that as well. So another thing to remember, and this is rule number 5, I guess, you don't have to have just one slot element inside of a component. So let's say in this component over here, what I did is I changed this section into a slot, and you can just convert it, by the way. So if you already have a component set up, you can right click and convert to slot, and it will just put it inside of a frame. So this section is wrapped in a slot called fields, and this one is wrapped in a slot called buttons. Let's see how this looks in action. So when I pull this out, I have the fields slot and I have the button slot. And then inside the button slot, let's say this time I only need 2 buttons, and in this one I need a different kind of field. Yeah, so I can set preferred instances for each of these fields according to what can go inside of there. Let's say I want to control that the buttons will never be above the fields, so that could be a good use case to do it this way. Also, and I'm going to call this rule number 6, although it's not really a rule, you can still bind slots to component properties, specifically to Boolean ones. So for example, in this case, this field slot is connected to the show fields Boolean component property, which means when I select this instance over here, I can just make it disappear. So yeah, to quote Katie Heron, the limit does not exist. Now, Figma did give some guidelines that they would recommend on how to use this or how to start implementing this. I know that this is feeling like when auto layout came out and everyone was like, everything should be an auto layout now. No, you don't have to, babe. You can take your time with this. What they recommended is, firstly, to have a look at your design system at which components are most likely to be detached at the minute. A lot of us will have in our design system some components that kind of are a component, but they do need to be changed quite a lot. Have a look at those and see if slots could benefit them. Not necessarily, but maybe they could. The second thing that they recommend, and we kind of touched on this, use pre-filled components to set some clarity. Like what we did when we built the table cells, where they were already in there, so you understand what they're going to be used for and they're not just a blank canvas like in the first card we used, and people can go bonanza. Number 3 is make it clear what belongs in each slot. Like what we saw in the last example where you had the field slot and the button slot, almost leave some hints, and you can use the descriptions or you can use the pre-filled elements that are the default elements to give an idea of what should actually go into this space. Another thing they said is to think bigger than just small components. Why not try and see if slots could fit for your entire page, or maybe for a whole section of your page that you're designing or your graphic element that you're designing. Yes, they're super useful in the small context, but dream big. And lastly, try to align design and code using these slots. If you are working on something that is getting developed today or tomorrow, have a conversation with your engineers and developers and see how they are planning to build this and see if you can match them and they can match you. It always works great and makes handover much better and much more successful if you are constantly in communication with your developers anyway. But if you can build something in the same way and use the same structures, it will make it even more of a seamless process in the future. And that is that. I hope you enjoyed. Go forth and use slots. Let me know how you're using them, if you've found any really exciting use cases for them. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know what other videos you want to see. See you at the next one.